Hi, Darren here from Bet72.com again. It's the 7th of December, so the start of another, what we hope will be a profitable week. I'm sure it will be. Well, in fact, it has already been, and we'll touch on that very shortly. But yeah, as we said yesterday, it was a busy old weekend. Sunday was good for us. Not quite as good as Saturday, but still some profits to be made. Primarily focused around the advent calendar offers that were actually there, a couple of nice ones which we managed to extract a bit of profit from, and also the Newcastle-Liverpool game. Interesting one that, in the sense that we did trade the game. Didn't really go in our favour. We were leaning towards goals and we were expecting a Liverpool win, but no harm done, in the sense that because of the free bet offers, particularly the Bet20 get £10 in play from Hills, then we were able to adjust our position during the game, utilise that free money, and we actually got out for it was actually a scratch in the end. So there was no harm done. Obviously got to watch the game and didn't lose any money anyway, but it gave us an opportunity to perhaps try a couple of things and look to try and leverage some positions. But in the end, with the free bets that were actually there, we managed to get out for a scratch trade. So it wasn't too bad. Took a little bit of a break, had a couple of, like I say, casino and slot offers which we took a few quid out of during the day, and we then had a little spot of trading in the evening as well, which was quite profitable. We put the screenshots up on the Facebook and Twitter pages, so that's facebook.com/bet72, twitter.com/bet72. So always got our latest stuff on there if you want to check those out as well. But yeah, a nice end to the weekend there. And one thing I just wanted to say about, which was quite interesting, we had one of the offers which was from Betsafe, which you know we've been doing right the way through. They started actually in the middle of November, so we're well stuck into them now. 50 days of offers which I actually had. And we're up to about 20 odd at the moment. But the one I had yesterday was on it was live blackjack, which is not normally a game that I would go in and play. Certainly since the sort of the old days, it was one of the games that I sort of first cut my teeth on as far as playing at casinos. But now, with the tightening of a lot of the terms and conditions, very rarely that those sort of offers become profitable, or the wagering is just so high, it just takes so long in order to cash those out. But what was quite interesting is this was just basically a risk-free £10. So you just go on and play a hand for £10. If you win, you double your money. If you lose, you just get your tenner back the next day. But naturally, it's quite a popular offer. So trying to get onto the site, you're basically in sort of a queuing system, or you just go on a live table, but you were just sat there waiting for a seat to become available. And something which you don't normally do really in this game, because a lot of times you're just working in sort of isolation, where you just go off and do your own stuff and then come away again, is you don't really get to see sort of how maybe other people bet, or what other people do to try and make some money. And it's quite interesting. I was just I had sort of 10-15 minutes to kill, so I was just sort of waiting for a place to become available. We were just watching the general staking and just the general games unfolding there. Quite an eye-opener in a sense. Now, I'm not going to give out the rights or wrongs of what people were necessarily doing, but it's quite interesting when you come from a very sort of I'm going to say low risk, because I'm not saying I'm risk averse, because we do take risk in certain positions, and we do have to put money on the table in order to try and make some money. But generally, the angle we're going from is more strategy based and low risk, and risk-free offers where we can actually get them. To then actually sit there and watch some of the games that were, and hands that were being played, where we were talking, not unusual for on a table of say 7 people, that 4 or 5 of them actually had 100 chip as a minimum sort of stake that they were putting down. And it was not necessarily the size of stake that was quite surprising, but as I say, because I cut my teeth on blackjack, we basically know the perfect blackjack strategy inside out, because we used to play that all the time in order to wager through and play through the particular bonuses that were available 5 or 6 years ago, which was a very profitable time to be doing them. But just to see, I say, the size of the stake initially, but that wasn't, that's each to their own, because you don't know what sort of banks people are working to or whatever. But just the fact that either people just I don't know, didn't understand the rules of blackjack, or were just playing blindfolded, or just taking totally no sort of strategic method to try and make some money. And you know, just crazy decisions where people were standing when they should have been hitting again, hitting when they should have been standing, they weren't doubling up when they had the opportunity, all those sorts of things. And you just look at it and you think, it just stands out a mile. And as I say, it's not the staking size, even though we're just going in. I just literally played one hand when I did get a seat, played in one hand, £10 chip on the table, the dealer bust, so everyone who was still in the game actually won that time. So again, some of these other people sat around did, you know, double their £100 stake, so you know, happy days for them. But equally, didn't necessarily seem to be a lot of strategy from what I see. So it was just unusual. Not unusual. It's just interesting to see sometimes how people perhaps approach things, and we're sort of coming from a very methodical sort of strategy-based background, and you know, we're going to follow a certain set of rules. We're only going to take part in offers if they're pretty much positive expected value. Okay, now and again with some of the, say, slots offers, we're reinvesting money from elsewhere, but principally the whole idea is low risk advantage play and low risk strategy type play. So to actually see, and I'm sure you see it if you went to a live sort of bricks and mortar type casino as well and watch that sort of thing, or you know, the other time you see it is, say, when you go horse racing and live horse racing, and you see people at the actual bookies down the front of the track and things like that. So it's just interesting to see, and it just stood out a mile where you can see people who are just appear to be playing without any strategy. But anyway, just a bit of an observation. The important thing was we doubled our money, we took our £10 and we played one hand and we disappeared again. So I was just sat around waiting for a seat to come up. So but yeah, quite interesting, and certainly there are now and again some offers which do come up on the live casinos. And the only thing with those I would say is sometimes the gameplay can just be very slow. I mean, as I say, we had to wait for a seat, and then the other side of it, we also had to wait for each of the players to make their decisions. And even though the software is semi sort of automated, as in as soon as the cards get dealt, you can make a decision whether you're gonna hit, whether you're gonna stand, whether you're gonna double. It seems to be, again, a lot of people, I don't know whether they're not watching it, or we're just getting distracted, or we're just not paying attention, but you can be sat there for quite a long time, and eventually the software will time people out if they haven't made a decision. But as opposed to instantly, you know, whatever hand you get against the dealer, you know what you're going to do. Again, it just appears that some of the decision-making process is very slow for other people at the table. So it can be quite frustrating type of bonus, particularly where you see ones where you've got to turn your bonus over so many times or whatever. Just be aware that if you do see those, well, so you know, and generally they are profitable in the sense of the wagering will be lower than the normal automated computerized games. But again, they will just be slower to play. You won't have things like autoplay, for example, to be able to press the buttons for you as such. And it will just take longer purely because you've got humans at the other end of the screen making the decisions and having to play each hand. So the gameplay will be a lot slower. So, but not to say, you know, we have benefited from it before. Like we say, we doubled our money yesterday. So overall, a good weekend. So we can put that one to bed, move into the sort of second week, if you like, of December, and our sort of build up to Christmas profits. And you know, it's all looking good. We've got a couple of things to cash out from the weekend, and we've also got some new offers coming down the line. Again, we said yesterday, Everton Palace tonight, so it immediately brings in the Hills, £20, get £10 in play. We've got Champions League and Europa League football coming up this week, so it's going to be a good week as far as football's concerned. Again, the horse racing, usual sort of offers there, and we've got a few casino and a few games offers which are kicking about as well. So it's all good stuff, and yeah, I'm going to go off and fine-tune my blackjack skills, I think, because sometimes you think if you're up against certain people on the table, then maybe you've got a good chance. But so anyway, it's all good, and we're in the second week of December, so keep the questions coming in. We're just piecing together the first of our extended webinar broadcasts, which we're going to be putting up a timetable later in the week. We're going to kick those off next week, so we're going to intermingle those with some of these as well. So again, got any topics or any subjects you want to cover, keep the ideas coming in, and we're building up a good schedule of shows which we can start to build a good new lot of content, and particularly when the new improved and revamped site appears in the new year will be really good, because we've got lots of new stuff ready to go as well on the site. So anyway, have a good Monday, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Cheers.